We're going to call it. Oh, Lord. There we go. Help. Everybody, good morning. Recorded. So keep that in mind. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Doug, please start us in that, if you would, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're in agenda item number 1, letter B. It's a tragic situation that happened this week at UNLV. We want to think about those that are involved and really take some moment of silent reflection. We're going to do this for about a minute. Think about them and the families as well as your families too, please. Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Just a couple comments on that. I just want to say the appreciation of the first responders and the people that were involved just to take care of that, governor, staff, everybody. It's pretty tough. It hits home for sure. So please take time and enjoy your loved ones. All right, moving to virtual attendee reminders. Shelley, go ahead and, can you hear me, Shelley? Go ahead.
So all participants have been muted upon entry during the presentation. Please keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking. Please raise your hand if you have a question or comment. And then you can use the raise hand icon within your Zoom to do that. If you are participating via phone, please press the *9 to raise your hand if you have a question or comment, and press *mute to unmute or press *6 to unmute yourself when called upon for question or comment.
Thank you, Shelley. I appreciate that. We're going to move to letter D in agenda item number 1. We're going to start off with roll call for board members. We'll start in, it'll be the easiest, Elko. Anybody in Elko? All right, nope, nobody there. Sparks office, please go ahead and start.
Carly Frey, represent Churchill County.
Rick Shank, representing veterinarians. Everyone on the roll call.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do staff too. We'll intermingle it. It's fine.
Kelly, Agricultural Literacy Coordinator for the NBA.
Richard Young, Attorney General's Office.
Jeff Knight, State Entomologist for NDA.
Brittany Malley, Deputy Administrator for Food and Nutrition.
That's all that's present in the room.
And then we'll go virtual. Sorry about that. Since for anybody out there virtually from staff or board.
Patricia Hoppy, Division Administrator for the Division of Food and Nutrition, Department of Agriculture.
Thank you, Patricia. That's it. Thank you, Sean.
Public Information Officer, Nevada Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
Hey, Sierra, we can't hear you very good, just for the record.
Okay, thank you.
All right, perfect. It sounds like we got everybody virtually. You got everybody accounted for. All right, we're gonna start. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Awesome. We're gonna start left of the room. Go ahead, Jim Snyder, please.
And Jim Snyder, row crops, Lyon County.
Brooke Neubauer, Las Vegas.
Dave Coon, Clark County, dairy industry.
Go ahead. Yeah, we're mixing it up.
Doug Ferris, Department of Agriculture, Deputy Director.
JJ Goycochea, Director, Department of Agriculture.
Woody Worthington, General Ag, Chairman of the Board for the Department of Ag.
Paul Well, Clark County, nursery industry.
Heather Lackey, Douglas County Pest Control.
Bernard Peterson, White Plain County, similar range beef production.
Joe Stajewski, Administrator, Division of Measurement Standards.
Mara Behill, Admin Services Administrator.
Chad Sistenovich, Administrator for the Animal Industry, Department of Ag.
Megan Brown, Plant Health and Compliance Deputy Administrator.
Lindsay Talbot, Division of Food and Nutrition, Community Nutrition Supervisor.
Peter Menchek, State Veterinarian, Department of Agriculture.
Melanie Sanchez, PIO for NDA.
Robert Combs, retired pig farmer from North Las Vegas.
Hank Combs, active pig farmer.
Go ahead, Holly.
Holly Renfron, Executive Assistant.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think we got. Oh, go ahead.
Hi, Meredith Diebold with the.
Yeah, are you waiting on me? Yeah, this Dwayne Combs, I'm in the Elko office. Apologize for not being there. I operated on last week. And I'm Lander County range and semi-range.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, it sounds like we got the whole roll call. Everything is good to go. Who's that?
We had a couple ladies over here.
Oh, sorry.
We're gonna do everybody. We're gonna do everybody.
Yeah, let's just go ahead.
Gabby Everett, 3 Square Food Bank.
Rolled up all of this, 3 Square Foot.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. All right, we got everybody here. Appreciate that roll call. We're gonna start off. We'll go ahead and.
We have about 10 people online. Would you like to do an online roll call?
Sure, let's do an online roll call. That'd be amazing. Thank you, Shelley.
Nicole Hayes, can you unmute yourself and let us know if anybody's in the room with you?
Nope, it's just me, Nicole Hayes with the American Wild Horse Campaign.
Thank you. Jake Dolly?
Jake Dolly, IT Manager for the Department of Agriculture.
Thank you. E. Covington?
I'm Eric Covington. I'm with Wildlife Services.
Thank you. J.R. Whitefield? J.R. Whitefield, are you available to unmute yourself? All right. Chris Gleam? Okay. Leanna?
Leanna Carey, Progressive Rancher Magazine, and the president of Lahontan Valley Cattle Women nonprofit. Thank you.
Tracy Wilson?
Yeah, Tracy Wilson, American Wild Horse Campaign.
Thank you. Deanna Kirk?
Dina Kirk, American Wild Horse Campaign.
Thank you. And Alex Tanchek?
Good morning, Alex Tanchek with Silver State Government Relations.
Thank you. And Scott Clifford?
It's probably just what you're logged into in that room, Shelley.
Okay, thank you. I think he was in his room, and we had 2 more people join, but they haven't popped up yet. We'll catch them at the roll call at the end. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark Ono, are you? Mark Ono? They're kind of taking a minute. Mark Ono, would you like to report your attendance?
I think we're good, Shelley.
Thank you. And Julia Miller Ketchum.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We have everybody all present and or accounted for. We appreciate it. So we're going to move right into public comment. How we're going to handle this is we're going to have Shelley go ahead and start online and get that taken care of if you have. And then I know we have one here in the office. We'll do that at the end then, Holly, for the public comment, but we have them here. So
Yes, she's here.
Perfect. So we don't have to do that one. Go ahead, Shelley, get it started.
All right, if you would like to make public comment, please raise your hand using the online feature. He is raising their hand to make public comment.
Are we good there then, Shelley?
I think we are. Thank you.
Okay, so, and then we're going to go ahead and go up to Sparks and find out if there's any public comment there.
Is there any public comment in the room here?
No, perfect. Thank you. And it looks like Elko, you're the only guy there. So I don't know. Is there any public comment in Elko?
Nothing other than smart aleck comment.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then here in Las Vegas, anybody in the room that would like to make public comment?
Good morning, everybody. Gabby Everett, for the record, with 3 Square Food Bank. We're here this morning on behalf of both 3 Square and the Food Bank of Northern Nevada, and we really just wanted to take a moment to say thank you, both to the Nevada Department of Agriculture, but also to the local producers who are all a part of the Home Feeds Nevada program and helping make that such a successful program since its inception in 2021. As Nevada's food bank and pantry network of hundreds of nonprofit organizations continue to strive to meet the meal gap through service to our state's food insecure residents each day. This work has definitely been made easier by the addition of the Home Feeds Nevada program, which we have seen thus far more than 1.75 million pounds of product come through since its formation. That product has included locally produced, often regionally relevant, very much so nutrient dense and definitely exceptional quality product that has included milk, tomatoes, we get various greens through it, and more recently, and very much so a kudos to the Nevada Department of Agriculture staff that has also included meat protein like pork roast and ground beef. So we're really just here on behalf of the more than 280,000 Nevadans that we serve every month as that collective network to say thank you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gabby. I appreciate that. Awesome. Is there any other public comments? Yes.
Yeah, Hank Holmes, also thanks for your time and service. So would it be appropriate maybe to give a little update on our operation or as a public comment?
It's public comment. So,
yeah. So Las Vegas Livestock have been operating after RC Farms closed down for about 5 years. We're a livestock operator. We mostly are pigs, and our niche is feeding food scraps from the casinos and the different outlets around town. We process it through a permit with the Department of Ag and USDA. It's a Swine Health Act permit. Basically, we have to cook all the food that we brought in that has beef. We had some rough times, of course, with COVID, but we're coming out of that. We're starting to rebuild and actually going to grow a little bit this year, I think, coming up. We're going to build another barn. We have an inventory of about 4,000 pigs, some goats and chickens and different products, but that's what we do. And just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other public comment here?
Oh,
perfect. No problem.
We had a deal.
I've made deals with that guy.
I do not mind getting a laugh out of people this time of the year. But while you're enjoying whatever we're laughing at, don't forget you have a very important position and to be here and express some thought. Mine is still the same. I'm more talkative in that my personal drive can be summed up to what was our National Association National Facts, which FACTS stands for Food
Conservation.
Spanish was always tough for me. Yeah. The FACTS stand for Food and Conservation through Swine, if done properly. And that's why I'm still on belief in. Gonna do what I can to help achieve that locally and nationally. I was proud of it. One elect, I was one Secretary of Air, United States Secretary of Air, back when, a few years ago, all of my life I've been involved in food factor, utilization of enough waste. So I'm proud to be here again. Thank you. Thanks for being invited. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Bob, appreciate it. Any other public comments? Any out there, Shelley, last minute? All right, we'll close the first wave of public comments. Thank you. We're going to move to agenda item number 3, the minutes. They're in your small little packet here. Go ahead and board members, please take a look at them, and it is an action item, so we'll have to vote on that. So.
Move to approve the minutes.
There's a motion, Jim Snyder, thank you for approving the meeting minutes, and there's a second for August 31st, 2023. Is there any discussion, board?
I just want to make a comment about Board Spratlin's information and question on the meeting last time, and especially as pertained to the board being able to review any legislation goes through this improvement to the Board of Agriculture. And you did comment about how it should be, we should approve anything that has to deal with agriculture going through the legislature. And I believe that is in the requirements of the board as well. And so I know that there was important ag situation where there was stuff passed that never went through the board for approval. And I think that that is very important for us to do.
Perfect, so there's no change on the motion though?
No.
For discussion, okay, perfect. So we have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Perfect, thank you very much. And so moved. All right, we're moving to agenda item number 4. This is just a little housekeeping for the board management, specifically discussion of possible board meeting dates for 2024, believe it or not, it's right there. So, and then also we can discuss other possible dates as well. So, yes. Is there Richard in? Is he there? Is the DAG there at Sparks?
Yeah, for the record, what's going on?
Okay. Oh, nothing. I just wanted to say you were present. I didn't see you there at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So awesome. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
For sure.
Okay, so board members, please take a look. We kind of Holly helped out as of last year, kind of what the dates were. We have some alternatives, Wednesday and Friday in Sparks. See if these dates work for you. Can you guys hear me there in Elko as well?
gave you a thumbs up.
Okay, perfect. So the first set of dates we have, I'll just go through it then, is in Sparks, Nevada, March 6th on Wednesday, or the alternate is March 8th on Friday. Yeah.
Motion to accept the March 8th date.
All right, perfect. We have a motion on the floor for March 8th. Is there
I'll second that.
a second? There's a first and a second. Any discussion on March 8th? Perfect. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Perfect, so there's one. All right, we're gonna go down to, the next meeting would be in Sparks, June 5th. Is the one date, and then June 7th is the alternate day. Can someone make a motion on that one?
I move to select June 5th.
All right, there's a motion.
Second.
Motion, there's a first and a second on June 5th for the Sparks, Nevada. Any discussion?
Can I ask just Dwayne Coombs in Elko for the record? Can I just ask, Chairman, does it make a difference to the staff whether these meetings are midweek or end of the week? Because a lot of us in at least in my world, it doesn't, I mean, every day's another day, but if it does make an impact on Director Goicochea's staff as to getting this stuff together, I would be interested to accommodate them as much as we could too.
Yeah, that was in discussion of, those are the dates that we came up with that would work best for their schedule.
Okay.
Sharon, if I can add in,
Yes,
Dwayne,
sir.
I appreciate that very much. I think this next year, it really doesn't matter. As we go into the legislative session the following year, it will matter based upon committee meeting dates. So, that while we're sitting on Wednesdays and Fridays now, we don't know what that'll look like as we get into an actual legislative session. And we may have to ask for some variations in that as we get into 25, but for 24 with no session, I think we'll be fine.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
Awesome, thank you so much, I appreciate it. So I have two motions, first for approving June 5th and a second. Discussion, any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. It's so moved. All right, Elko, your neck of the woods. We're looking at the first date would be September 4th, and then September 6th. Do we have a motion?
Move for September 4th.
So we have a motion on the floor for September 4th Elko meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. We have a first and a second. Any discussion on September 4th? Perfect. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. It's so moved, September 4th. And then finally, Las Vegas. We have the first date being December 4th, and then also an alternative date for December 6th. Any motion on the floor?
I can make a motion for the 6th.
Okay. All right, there's a first, thank you, appreciate that, Bernard. Motion for December 6th. Is there a second?
Second.
I think Heather got it. All right, perfect. Yes, that was close. That was really close. So we have a first and a second. Any discussion on this date specifically? Awesome. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. It's so moved. December 6th in Las Vegas. 25 is taken care of. 24. 24. God, I'm
That's advanced math for
I
Douglas County.
know. Oh, please. Here we go. All right. So board member, thank you. Appreciate that comment. Board member updates and represented industries, agenda item number 4, letter B, or start with Elko. Go ahead, Elko.
Wow, that's tough. I got to start right out of the gate. So from especially the range folks up north, we've had a blessed year. I mean, once we got through the winter, I guess we could say blessed from basically April on. We've had a fantastic weather year, been a beautiful fall. I think there's only been 1 or 2 months that we haven't been at least 100% of moisture in both northeastern Nevada and north central Nevada. And so I think that's, we're looking good that way. The only, I'm just trying to think, the only, and this is more, I guess, for information folks, as I have the last 7 or 8 years lived and ranched adjacent to the I-80 corridor, I am continually amazed at the amount of livestock traffic that goes through our state. The number of cow pots that I see on I-80 and our highways, and a lot of that is pass-through traffic. But as far as an agricultural, from a Department of Ag, I think we need to be cognizant of just how much livestock passes through there, through our state, above and beyond the folks that are making a living at it. And I guess one of the things that I'd like just to bring up as an example of that, this fall, my wife was coming back from the ranch at Big Springs going to Battle Mountain, and there was a pot load of kill cows, old dairy cows coming out of Idaho, going to Fresno, that the truck caught on fire right outside of River Ranch exit. And she happened to be right behind the truck. And she and I both were fairly taken back at, just even though we live in a rural state, in an ag state, ag part of the country, there was just not a lot of folks that knew how to deal with that situation. And I ended up bringing a half-top trailer clear from Big Springs Ranch out of close to on the other side of Wells, so that we could unload the top deck of that trailer there on the freeway. And so I don't know that this is something that we need to do anything about, but I tried all the numbers in my Rolodex, the deputies that we have, and nobody was available because it was a Sunday afternoon. And, so it could have been a lot worse. I think they lost 1 cow on that load. But just something that I never thought about in the 25 years that I lived here, before being on this I-80 corridor, is there's a lot of cattle and hogs and sheep come through our state, even above and beyond what we raise here. And just, I think that we may, as an action, try to figure out some way to create whether we work with the NHP to help them with some training on how to deal with animals, some stockmanship kinds of things. There's a lot of places that we can help. Even Elko County, the Sheriff's Department was completely lost on this deal. So anyway, that's all. I just, I think we're, as far as an industry here, as far as livestock, we're doing pretty good right now. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll move right into Sparks. Go ahead and start, Mr. Frey, with your board update.
Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I see you have a Christmas tree down there. I think he hasn't come here yet. Okay.
2 right up front there, Charlie, right under the screen. Under the screen.
Oh, man. Yeah, they do. Never mind. Retract it. Well, okay, I represent Churchill County, and most of the farmers down there have had a very good year. I think yields were up. The hay prices are up, especially top quality hay. And I noticed when I drive around, and maybe some of you do too, a lot of the fields have been cultivated and planted. And farmers were able to get water, I think, up until November 15th. Then you'll also notice down there, there's quite a few acres, well over 2,000-3,000 acres that are not cultivated, and they still have stubble on them and stuff. And a lot of the farmers down here are looking to sustainable agriculture and trying to no-till, put as least amount of fertilizer and chemical on their fields as they can. And they're trying to get back to completely sustainable agriculture. That may take quite a while, because one of the best ways we think that you could put your land back in sustainable agriculture is to possibly grow a crop of hay or something for the animals, and then turn the animals in on that and rebuild that maybe for 2 years. And it'll start the process of the microbes working back into the soil, and it'll actually make, we think, the soil a little bit more permeable to water. It reduces down the amount of salts and alkali grass and stuff. So that's kind of what they're doing in Fallon, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Shank now.
Apparently on Charlie's end of the valley, the prices of hay are up. For the rest of us, there's been a decrease, but which has been a blessing, at least for the dairies that we deal with. Forage prices have gone down, so that's helped as far as maybe allowing them to catch up a little bit on some expenses there. But as is a trend, when milk prices should be up or down, a never-ending dilemma that they deal with. But our dairies are doing very well, at least in the Fallon area. As far as my part of the profession in a mixed animal practice, we're pretty much done with most of our preg checking and of the large ranches that we deal with, and bangs vaccinating. Most of the practices that are mixed animal practices that do any large animal work, most of them are looking for veterinarians to fill vacancies. I guess the good thing, the AVMA has had many requests from a lot of the veterinary schools throughout the country to increase their class sizes. Many of them are doing that by about 15%. They can do that without having to go through a lot of other steps through the American Veterinary Medical Association to get extra approvals. Sometimes they can just increase their class size a little bit and make things work. Even though the class sizes are getting larger, we still have a shortage of veterinarians that desire to serve in mixed animal practices and agriculture. You know, I can step in a big pile of cow manure here by saying what I feel, and I'm going to say it, but and I say this kindly, the class sizes are larger, but we're still seeing a disparity in the number of male veterinarians or male students that even want to apply. My son's a first-year student at Lincoln Memorial in Eastern Tennessee. A class of 95 students, he's one of 11 male students. But in asking why that's the case, it's our young men are not applying. So if last year when we made a site visit to Colorado State, they had something like 3,000 applications and 10% of them were male students. So as these boards are going through and looking at candidates and you know, when you only have 10% of the applications that are male students, you're gonna only have maybe 10% that are gonna get accepted. So, you know, we need to encourage our young men to apply if they feel that that's a profession they want to get into. Now, with that being said, I'm not sexist by any means. We love women veterinarians. They're great, they're wonderful. They are more compassionate than those of us with a Y chromosome, unfortunately. But we just need to encourage more of these young men to apply if they would like to get into the profession. But otherwise, that's just a little report, and I hope I don't get shot for what I said.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I don't see anybody else here, board members. We'll start, Jim Snyder here in Las Vegas.
Okay, well, the hay market in Lyon County, I think, as I reported before, is not very good. I think I'll be moving to Churchill County. The weather for making hay was also not at all favorable. However, I think the other crops have done well. The vegetable crops, the onions, we've had a good onion crop. The market looks good. We're shipping at a very steady, rapid rate on the onions. So other than that, I don't know of anything to report.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. So I attended the Nevada Farm Bureau event in Mesquite, which was amazing and very eye-opening. Just being able to meet the farmers and kind of hear what goes on in your world, that was really cool. Listen to a USDA session on some information about different types of produce that comes through like food banks, and they had shared that 50% of the produce that comes to food banks is typically, it is actually 50% is onions and potatoes. And while those are some of my favorite foods,
All right.
It really shined a light too of how important programs like Home Feeds Nevada is. It's what a brilliant program and what a need. You know, for the clients that are served with the TFAP food, it is it allows for some normalcy and just for healthier diet. So it's just really amazing. And then I'm just starting to like dive into this program and really learn so much. I've been chatting with our local food bank, 3 Square. They've given me so much great information, and what a unique system. So for between 2022 and 2023, 9.6 million pounds were distributed. So that's, you know, quite a beast of a program. And for 2023 thus far, 5.6 pounds were just 5.6 million pounds. So the food has gone down quite significantly, which we were all expecting and prepared for. But you could see that, you know, last year, it's not that food insecurity has gone away. So it really is important to try to figure out programs that can, you know, just bring more food into Southern Nevada and Northern Nevada as well. And then what else? 49 agency partners alone in Clark County or here in Las Vegas distribute to 4 counties. And again, I can't wait to just kind of, you know, report more information to you guys and just really paint a picture of how this food is being used. This food is truly a lifeline. We are the Just One Project, the company that I'm with, we actually are a distributor of the TFAP foods, and it literally is a lifeline. Most of our clients, they either shop at their local liquor stores, which I mean, you're not getting anything fresh there, or the dollar store because it's cheap. And so the access of this food is just really life-changing for their diets. Thank you.
Things are somewhat stable in the dairy industry for the time being, and we're grateful for that. Of course, we continue to have the same challenges as other businesses in the comes to things specific to our industry, such as fuel, resin, insurance costs. I don't know how many other industries in the state are being impacted by that, but they have certainly increased to us. It seems as though these past months, whenever I was asked to give a report on our industry, I've closed with a expression of gratitude for the system that we have within the state of Nevada. As a member of the industry, as a member of the board, we continue to be very grateful for the oversight, for the interaction that we have with our regulators, the access to those that need to help us stay in line with expectations and regulations, and their willingness to listen to our input as to things that concern us. We had a dairy commission in the state of Nevada some years ago, and when the discussions first came as far as discontinuing the dairy commission and those things that they regulated, those laws that have been enacted by the legislature, we had a concern that they might just kind of fade away a little bit. But the Department of Agriculture did a great job in absorbing those regulations, those laws. And we're always concerned about not just us, we're concerned about our competitors as well, anyone in the industry. When there's a problem in an industry, that impacts everyone. No one really benefits from that in the long run. So appreciate being able to talk to, again, as a member of the industry, and I know others feel the same. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to do business that is connected with the Department with Agriculture in the state of Nevada because of how accessible everyone is. And so thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, David. Woody Worthington for Douglas County. General Ag, hay prices aren't as good as in Churchill, apparently. We got to go over there and visit. It is kind of speaking in terms of regenerative farming, that is kind of taking on a world of its own. It seems that we had a few conferences there in Douglas and talking about it. So it's of interest for sure. And we did get a little light bit of snow, I guess is what Mama said. They're already, so winter is starting. So we can get a good frost. The sheep will be out on the alfalfa. So we're looking forward to that. We got a little bit of hay put away for the cows and whatnot. So appreciate your guys' time. All the board too as well, showing up and being here present. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, as far as the nursery industry goes, not a lot of change. We've been staying pretty steady with plant material supplies, seeing that our state doesn't grow a lot of the nursery products. We have to rely on products that come from out of state, and we definitely appreciate the department in their inspections and trying to keep out problems and insects. They did a great job of stopping this last little infection of fire ants that came in, which is really important. We always are looking out for insects such as the emerald ash borer, things like that, that is actually, I think has been in the northern part of the state, but so far not down here. But I think the department does a great job in inspections and making sure that a lot of these insects and diseases don't get brought into our state. It's very important. So we appreciate that very much. And as far as the industry, it's actually been pretty steady. Even though these last 2 summers have been the most stressful for plant products, plants in general, because of the extended time that we've had of extremely high temperatures, especially in southern Nevada here, where plants can actually take extremely hot temperatures or cold temperatures for very short periods. The last 2 summers have brought temperatures to us down here between 110 and 115 degrees that have lasted for stretches as much as 2 weeks. And plant material just can't handle that stress for that long a period. So it's been a very much of a problem of trying to, help the general public with plant problems and take care of plants in our nurseries as well during those conditions. But so far, we've been able to do a pretty good job. And I appreciate what the department does to help us with that.
Appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. Heather Lackey with Douglas County representing pest control. So work has been very steady after our 7-year winter that we had. And now that we've had a quarter of nice weather, we've all been out there just getting things done and appreciating the beautiful weather that we've had. As I've heard, it's been a great fall this last fall. Really enjoying it and getting a lot done. I actually had more questions outside of my industry this quarter than I had inside of my own, which was different. But luckily, I had enough friends here that I could get a hold of people that I needed to get the answers out there to the people that were asking questions and move along. Because my industry has been very quiet this quarter, which is good. I mean, everyone's chugging along and getting things done, and there's really no issues as far as I've been notified. So I'm happy to bring nothing but happiness to the table. Moving along. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So, thank you. Bernard Peterson for the record. White Pine County semi-range beef production. I'll mirror a lot of the things that Dwayne and Dave and Jim and Heather said is the long and difficult winter last year produced range conditions and production conditions all across Nevada that made us pretty successful for the year. Marketings were incredible for livestock, sheep and cattle both, and the painful side of it is fertilizer costs right now are at an all-time high, and we experienced a lot of those things. It's been a pretty positive year across the board. We in Eastern Nevada are an export state. All the sheep leave the state. Most all the cattle leave the state. Most all the good quality alfalfa production leaves the state. As painful as it is, we in the eastern half of the state, we still have all of our alfalfa inventory in storage, and most of it covered are in a roof. So hopefully over the course of the next 6 months, things will loosen up a little bit, and that export condition will improve. Additionally, one of the things I wanted to comment on, the park committee with the critters and rodents committee. I had the opportunity to go with the New SWAT group to Washington, D.C. for a few days. Mark Ono was on the other end, I think, out there listening. And that committee is comprised of about 26 people. It's the Wildlife Services Advisory Committee. And we got to sit and look at the past recommendations, regulations, and do some budget proposals for the USDA department there. And there were a lot of really positive things that came from that discussion from different interests from all over the country, as far as sustaining agriculture, from bird problems to cormorant problems to rodent problems, coyotes and mountain lions and grizzly bears, and other things, many other things that affect agriculture across the United States. I was grateful for having the opportunity to attend those meetings and learned a lot there. So anyway, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I think that concludes all of our board updates. Board members, thanks again. Appreciate it. Ups and downs, ebbs and flows of agriculture already. So we're going to move on to, we'll go ahead and go to agenda number 5, Director's Report, JJ Kokachia.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. You guys have a copy of my Director's Report. If there's one thing I can't stand is someone that reads to you, because I know very well you guys are very capable of reading. So I'll just hit a few high points, and then I like to go off script because it makes Holly and Shelley and Cedar squirm. I'll start with we are continuing our pledge as an agency to do that customer service internally and externally. And I appreciate very much what Member Kuhn said about working with this agency. I think all the administrators will agree. I've made it clear, we're an open door. You come in, you have problems, you come and talk to us. If you don't get the answer you need there, we will get you the answer by the end of the day from someone. And so they're all very responsive, and I want to thank them. Without our team, we couldn't do what we did. We've got a very good group of people that are working for you. And any questions you have, you reach out to these folks. And if you don't get the answer you need, you come to Doug and I, and we will make sure to get you those answers. That's kind of the external facing part of it. We went to Farm Bureau, we went to Cattlemen's. We try to be engaged in as many of these events as we can. I know we're much to Amara's chagrin, we're burning the tires off of vehicles and we're burning a lot of fuel. Some are actually tearing the wheels off of vehicles. Other guy over there. There's you. But we're doing it. Wow, we're committed to that. Internal customer relations, you'll hear from the divisions. We've got some vacancies, and I'm going to let them talk about that and what they're feeling, how they're going to fill those. But Doug and I have already hosted one sit in all 3 offices of lunch for the staff, and we are going to be 2/3 of the way done with the second sit this afternoon. So we firmly believe in getting all of our staff together. We invite them in. We take care of that. We do the meal prep, and we haven't had any complaints so far. So the numbers continue to grow. I guess when they start going down, we'll have to switch up the menu a little bit for those people. But we're very proud of the work that we're doing over here. And we couldn't be more proud. Mr. No, in regards to you and the policy and VDRs through the legislature, I agree 110%. We, at this point, do not have any proposed policy VDRs that we can think of, but they will come before you. There were changes in the last legislative session, and we're still working through those. We fought some of those very hard, didn't win them all, as you are aware, but we think we are able to do what we need to do to continue to serve the industry. And where there's an inch, this basket will take a mile. So we're going to continue to push back on those. But you have my promise that if we are proposing any bill draft requests from this agency, this board will know what those are. We're going to start the budget bill first. That's just the direction that came from the governor's office. We will be starting that in the spring. So you guys can probably expect to see a little bit in that March 8th meeting. I don't expect anything real earth shattering. We're going to be all hands on deck to get that budget built. And then right behind that, we will see some policy requests come in. If we need to, Mr. Chair, I will work with you. And if we need to have a special meeting outside of the quarterly meetings to bring you guys up to speed, we can do that via Zoom or however we wish to do it, but we're not going to operate in a vacuum. And so I want to make sure you guys are clear on that. One thing, Home Feeds Nevada, we've heard about it a couple times today. I'm a firm believer in that program. Tanner's doing a great job. I'm not going to steal any of Patricia's thunder, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat it. We're going to need some help when we get into the 25 session. You guys are aware of how that was set up. This agency can receive grants and gifts and other outside revenue. As a director, we can receive those. I don't need to tell you that where we're at economically, I do not have a big bucket in the corner of my office that is filling up with grants and gifts, et cetera. So in order to continue that program, we're going to need the industry and the community's help as we go to the legislature and try to secure funding for that to keep that going. When I was at Farm Bureau, I made that commitment. I will do everything that I can to make that happen, but I cannot do that alone. And that's where your voices are going to be extremely important. Member Shank definitely can relate to the lack of veterinarians in rural Nevada. One little bit of good news out of the last session, Utah State University and Nevada have entered into an agreement. That was legislation that was brought forward by soon retiring Senator Goycochea, and that will be up to 7 seats for Nevada residents at Utah State University for 10 years. So we could see 70, if everything works out, new veterinarians coming into this state. Operates very much like Witchy. You will sign an agreement to where you will come back and work in that state in Nevada in order to offset that. We can't say, yeah, you know, you're going to be all large animal veterinarians by any stretch of the imagination, but our hope is we can get a few. And it's not just large animal veterinarians that we're short. You guys in Las Vegas, you guys in Reno know this as well. Sometimes there's a long wait to get your animals in, even for routine vaccinations. So this is something that we did support as an agency, and we worked very hard behind the scenes with University of Nevada in order to get that push through. So I think that is going to be a huge win for us as well. Just looking at a few other notes on here. Some other things that are not on my list that we are continuing to work on. Dwayne, hear you loud and clear. Livestock moving across the state, not only are the traffic situations a problem at times, and this is coming from someone that has worked his share of those. The pair of us, Doug and I, know all too well what those vehicle accidents and fires look like. We will work with our local jurisdictions, and DPS is understaffed. And I don't think, we can ask much of them right now until they get staffed up. But our local sheriff's office and animal control do need to have better connection with us. And we are the experts when it comes to that. And we hear you, and we will do a better job of coordinating with them and trying to respond, or at least having some educational pieces out there for them. I have been asked to speak, and we've had members of our ag police officers speak at numerous conventions over the last year in regards to just this. One other thing that we are actively working on is what is it going to look like during a foreign animal disease outbreak? I don't need to tell the dairy guys, when it comes and we get a 72-hour stop, we've got to have that secure milk plan, secure beef plan, secure wool and sheep plan in place. I am still engaged. I've been engaged for years with our federal partners, Public Lands Council and NCBA, on creating a document that's going to allow public land grazing to continue. What are those permits going to look like, et cetera? That is nearing completion. So look for that right after the first of the calendar year. I'm very excited about what that product's going to look like. And obviously, you're probably in a pretty good spot. You've got a great state veterinarian. You've got a has-been state veterinarian sitting right here. So when and if that comes, I think we're going to be well positioned in the state of Nevada to issue permits and keep things moving as much as we can in that front. Heather had no complaints, so I don't think I have to address anything for her. And I addressed Mr. Nose, and I will let Megan, she will have a little bit of an update, I believe, if there are any questions on our neonic stuff, but we always have an open door. You know where we're at on that. And so we will continue to work forward.
We appreciate all your help.
All right, yes, sir.
Yeah, Dr. Gokachin, could you just summarize the sage grouse situation and how that's impacting the ranchers currently?
Absolutely. Very timely, Mr. Snyder. Today, we expect the administrative draft environmental assessment to be released on the latest revisions to the sage grouse plan nationally. Megan has been very, very involved in that. Her and I tag team that. She does most of the BLM meetings. I do the Western Governors Task Force meetings. It's not going to be all rainbows and unicorns. I wish it would be. There are some changes in that that are very concerning. There's some changes with areas of critical environmental concern that not only our agency, but Division of Minerals are very concerned about as well, as we lay polygons over the landscape and start to single species manage, if you will. So that comment period will be open the 8th to the 26th. You heard me right. Comments will be due the day after Christmas. The lady on that end of the table and this one are the two that are responsible for those comments. I think we have 8 others that we're working on between now and the end of the year. We have asked for an extension verbally. We will be sending a formal letter on behalf of the state of Nevada, hopefully later today, asking for an extension to those comments. I do have the draft here, trying to push that out to the 12th of January. I know local governments are asking for that exact same extension of time. It's concerning, Jim, and again, because we are a cooperating agency, I can't get down into the weeds on a lot of it because that has not been released publicly yet, but know that this agency is engaged and we are pushing very hard against the things that we think will have a negative impact on our industry. And we're not alone. There's all the Western states are pretty much lockstep on this one. Again, we do have the conservation rule still out there. We have not seen that last language. We anticipate it in the next 3 weeks. We have grazing policy that they are proposing that we are working on. We have solar programmatic EISs, we have wind, we have transmission lines, we have on cutthroat trout, all things that are on the table right now. And again, I don't want to steal any of her thunder for her report, but we're working on them. She's working on them. I'm saying this or that.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? Like I said, I know you guys can read, so I'm not going to go through that black and white.
Any other questions for Dr. Govichian?
All right. Again, thank you guys for the opportunity. We've got 11 months down and you guys haven't fired me.
We appreciate what you're doing, JJ.
Oh, hang on. I do have one other thing. So, yep, I do. So, all right, that's my official report. So now, Shelley, I'm going to, over on your side, I want to recognize a couple of very special individuals for the agency outside of my report. I'm going to start there in Sparks. We've got a young man casually reclined on our left-hand side, sitting there next to Brittany, rearing back. And I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. And I told Doug I was going to say this, and he gulped. But any of you guys that have met my two daughters and my lovely family, Mr. Knight's actually responsible for that happening. So my wife was working for Jeff Knight many years ago on that little Mormon cricket situation. And that's, while I knew her, we had not been dating or anything else. And that's when we actually started dating. So this agency pulled that together. But Jeff has been a cornerstone for this agency as a state entomologist, and he is definitely irreplaceable. While he can be a crabby old fart, so can I, and we seem to get along just fine. But Jim, I want to recognize you for your 38 years of service to this agency. And Shelley, I think you're there. I think I saw you walk to the front of the room. So I'll let you take it from there and present him with that, please.
Okay, so we have an award and it says celebrating 38 years of service. The certificate is awarded to Jeff Knight, state entomologist, plant health and compliance, an appreciation of 38 years of dedicated service, commitment, and exceptional contributions at the Nevada Department of Agriculture. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have one additional one, and he wasn't able to join us today, but Eric, I do believe that you are on the phone or on the computer, but we have another individual is a field assistant too in the state of Nevada under the park committee, operates in livestock industry. And I can't tell you how many times over, I mean, literally almost my entire life, I've known this guy, and he's been right there. He does what needs to be done. He works very aggressively to protect this livestock industry and to protect the agricultural industry across Nevada. He is the only one in the state that works for us that does what he does. And he is definitely another one of those irreplaceable individuals. His name is Jim Bueller. And if you think it's impressive that Mr. Knight can survive an agency for 38 years, Jim has been here for 41 years.
Wow.
Working for the Department of Agriculture. And again, he wasn't able to join us today, but we do have, we also have a similar certificate for him. And Chad and I will work to make sure that that gets over to Eric Covington and Ely, and we get that to Jim when he can join us. And I know he's chomping at the bit to get back out there in the field because it's that time of year when he does his best work. So thank me and congratulating Jim Bueller for 41 years. You will see him on social media.
And on behalf of Jim, I just want to thank you guys for doing that.
Oh, thank you, Eric. And we'll get over there and see Jim. And heck, maybe Chad and I'll drive across. We can have lunch over there with you guys in Ely one day. So,
Sure, let's do that. He's been out on sick leave for a little while. He's had some out of town appointments and wasn't able to be here today. But I'll pass the word along to him, and I sure do appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. And that's it, Mr. Chair.
One more thing.
I'll let you go on and then I'll ask for a do-over.
No, that's amazing. 41 years and 38. That's super amazing. We appreciate that. We appreciate JJ, Doug, and the staff putting all this together. It's been 11 months.
Been 11 months.
11 wonderful months. It seems like yesterday.
Wonderful months.
Wonderful months. Been amazing. And we, once again, I mean, not speaking on all the board, but I talked to him, and you guys are, there's a lot of moving pieces, let's put it that way. There's a lot of moving pieces. We appreciate that. So thank you. Appreciate it again. We'll move to agenda item number 6, administrative, we'll go Amara, for an update on that.
So Amara Vigil, Administrator for Admin Services. We'll start with our trade and economic development. We had a couple trade missions from our last meeting. Netherlands and Denmark was a specialty beverage mission, and then South Korea was a pre-planning trip for the governor, who is going for an economic development in June of 2024. Lindsay Palladini from Fallon, Nevada was the winner of our photo contest. So congratulations, Lindsay. Shelley has been busy with her team taking Melissa out to elementary schools and other schools throughout Nevada, and getting that agricultural literacy out and to our younger generations. We had multiple team members participate in the Nevada Day Parade along with Melissa. And you heard about the Farm Bureau and Cattlemen's Association as well. Some articles to be aware of or to look into is funding that's available for the Nevada Grow Specialty Crops Program, as well as we had the Women's Farm to Food Accelerator Program kick off with 12 participants in early November. We also have a few staff members. We have a new PIO. You guys met Melanie at the beginning. And then we also have a couple other members who started with our admin services area. I did want to give out a shout to our IT team. You guys can see that we had a upgrade on our conference rooms here and in Elko. And so they've really worked hard. They made a special trip down here just to get this room ready for us. And so hopefully Vegas will be on the next, or Sparks will be on the next agenda item for the next board meeting. Lastly, for financials, I picked 2 different budget accounts. One is for dairy and one is for food and nutrition. We have the budget account is $44.70 for our dairy fund and $26.91, which is our nutritional education program. Sorry. We'll start with the nutrition education program. This is mostly federal funds with some general fund appropriations.
Can we get that dialogue box off there?
I don't know how to get that.
Just start chatting and see what happens.
Yeah, let's just start chatting.
Or can Shelley turn it off from her side if she's managing the meeting?
Shelley, can you see that that pop-up that says one place for all your meeting chats? Can you disable that?
We can see it down here.
Is there a way to mark it, start chatting?
I don't think we want to though. You don't want them to.
Click on chat and just see what comes up.
So is Shelley still there or no?
She's adjusting the screen, but we can see it fine up here in Sparks. I think she needs to leave the room to adjust something, but we can see it fine.
Is that better for you guys?
No, we
we have a box at the bottom of our screen that says one place for all your meeting chats. And we don't know how to get rid of it, and it's blocking the presentation.
Is that the box right there? Is it on your screen? Right, Amara?
No, it's not on there.
Let me get Scott because it shows here. I'm sorry.
Let's just do 5.
Yeah, we'll just take.
We can't see it.
Yeah, we'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll take a recess, and then we'll start back up. So we'll make it 10 minutes.
And I just
for the coffee. So 10 minutes, we'll take a break, and then we'll recess right now. Thank you. All right.
Shelley, I just texted you what we're seeing from our side.
Well, you hear this, I have a hard time. I have my face. I can't hear anything. Even when I don't have mine in, it's difficult here. It is. It's very difficult. Richard, after being able to recognize you, good to see you again.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We enjoy you keeping us on track.
I'm glad you guys stay out of trouble.
When you sit by the pesky ones and you elbow when they say something they shouldn't.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of this is, these are public meetings, so
Yeah.
they're content neutral, if you will. But doesn't mean if you do say something online that somebody else might, you know, report it up our chain and take issue with it, but that's out of the realm of my duties here. I'm just trying to keep things moving along smoothly, make sure you guys are all able to do your jobs, and
I served on the board of veterinary examiners for 9 years, and so Louis Ling, he was from the Attorney General's office.
Oh, okay.
He was good. He made sure that anyway, when we made judgments on cases that we didn't end up getting sued over certain things. That's so.
yeah, sometimes we do need to step in, but you know, it's for everyone's best interest though.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end of the day. A lot of the work here is just for me anyways, is to make sure that it's to protect the work that you do here, because those violations of say open meeting law or something else could really come back to haunt the work that you do. You'd have to redo it all over again. So we try to keep that in check. Yeah, but you guys are doing a great job.
Perfect, thank you so much. Looks like we got everybody back there and here, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting back to order, and we were getting ready to start your presentation. Go ahead.
Yes, I think we need to move that X. Sorry. How did you get the mouse to work? You gotta find it. It's right there, but it's a touch pad.
There we go.
There we go. This technology's never gonna catch on.
Easy. Almost right there.
Thanks,
All
buddy.
right.
I just sat here.
All right. Nutrition Education Program, it's budget account 1362. General funds and federal funds. We have 20 full-time employees. And we didn't have a lot of enhancements in this other than general IT equipment, which is generally just to replace computers that have come up as expiring or needing replacement. This is our revenue side of this. When I say that we are federally funded, most of these grants are actually pass-through grants, which means that we receive the money and we pass them on to others to do the program. You'll see our school lunch program is one of the larger programs, and that is fully pass-through. So we do we provide the lunch, they order the food, we provide the food to them, and it's a distribution funding thing. We do have ARPA programs within this. You'll see that a lot of these do not have funding because we haven't fully budgeted for them. I did a working budget for FY24 to update what funds we have brought in and what we have used so far throughout fiscal year 24 since we're through the first quarter. Expenditures on this one, you'll see a lot of it is school meals. We have a lot of lunch programs, and then our ARPA funding, which is that. We typically don't have reserves. This is probably a layover for funding that will be moved into our next into this fiscal year that was laid over from 23, because you're not really supposed to have excess money in a federally funded grant or program.
Amara, you just want to remind them when the ARPA money has to be spent by.
ARPA money has to be spent by 2026 or end of fiscal year 2026. So we have some time for that. Universal school meals is actually slated to be over at the end of the school year, so in June 2024. And then the ARPA funding, we do have certain programs that expire at different times, although we have been successful at getting extensions on those, it's not guaranteed. Any questions on nutrition? school.
I have one real quick question.
Yeah.
It says local. Can you back it up on slide?
Yep.
Local food for schools. So is that producers that are providing for the program or?
Yes, so this is funding and we have started doing our sub-awards on this. And so we are going out and sub-awarding to local schools and then they go out and purchase the food.
Amazing. Awesome. Any other questions for the board?
Dairy fund, this is primarily fee funded and we do have some federal funds within this program. We have 9 full-time positions. And again, most of our enhancements were just computer upgrades or replacements on the side. This is our revenue side of this. You can see we have, in fiscal year 23, we sort of eliminated breaking out our assessments and are just using 2 different assessment categories. But we did have to budget for these categories. So when we do present this budget, these will be combined and it'll look more actual. You can see that some of these, we didn't get a federal safe drinking water grant throughout the last year and this year. If that does come up and it's a grant that we do have in the future, we will do work programs to bring in that funding on that side. We do have the equipment grant in this one. And then the federal transfer and ARPA, I just wanted to let everybody know, you'll see that on every program in 23, it was to cover furloughs. So they gave us federal money to cover mandatory furloughs during COVID. Expenditures, it's pretty standard here. There's not a lot to say on the expenditure side of it. We do have a small amount of reserves, which is a statute requirement to keep some amounts of reserve. But other than that, it's pretty standard. Any questions on this guy?
Any board members have any questions? We're gonna dive in this.
Yeah.
I just want to thank Amara for continuing to do all this work. You know, we heard you guys in January. You guys want to see the dollars, know where we're at. And so she's picking a couple, 2, 3 budgets every board meeting and walking through them with you guys. And that, you know, it's a lot of work with everything else we have going. So I do appreciate her very much and the work she's doing to give you guys these numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll try and get this posted for you guys to look at on our website.
Are you at the end then?
I am.
Okay, I just wanted to throw out one other thing that Mara said I wasn't assisting today, so. But I wanted to thank Shelley Pope and then everybody who participated. So I don't know if everybody knows, but we actually, Shelley came up with the idea this year that we should have a float in the Nevada Day Parade. And so JJ turned around, signed us all up, got us registered and got us in. And then we had two of our vehicles in a trailer. We had Melissa on the trailer and made it down through the Nevada Day Parade. And that was pretty cool and well received as well. So I just want to thank everybody in the department that came and volunteered their time on a Saturday to freeze and drive down Carson Street. But
it was so warm.
You're like, wait.
This past weekend?
No, it was Nevada Day, end of October.
I drove, Woody.
Yeah, he drove.
I had to turn the heater up twice. Just so
there is a short video that Sierra did post. That I think Melanie, that was on Facebook, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook. You guys can see that on there. You can see our photos.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. Yeah, and
Chad, you can run that up a little bit. That's what I didn't call. He will. Never has.
I know, right? We appreciate the social media presence has been amazing as well. I think there was a picture of JJ out there in October. We had a few lookalikes running around there, so we really appreciate those as well. So, but keep up the good work, and it's really informational. Whether it's Dylan's program on the passport and stuff like that, it really keeps. I think the SEO stuff is really seeing an uptick in there, and Shelley is amazing. I see her at a few events at working with me, Farm Bureau and Department of Ag there, given that ag classroom. She's dragging Melissa around, and I'm sure Monique will be fired up too around here, but we appreciate what you and your team are doing. So thank you very much. Board, have any comments or anything else? Awesome. All right. We're going to move to agenda item number 7, animal industry. Chad, go ahead.
I'm Chad Sestidovich, Administrator for Animal. JJ, I'm not going to read all of it.
Okay.
There's a lot of yellow though.
I think it is all very important. I will hit the highlighted parts. So starting with pending matters of significance, NAC 571, staff are continuing revisions and editing current proposed language for future workshops. Hopefully we can get those set up here shortly. There is a Division of Animal Industry Deputy Administrator position open, and we have received resumes, and hopefully we can start interviews shortly. Partnership activities, USDA APHIS, Nevada Department of Ag, staff continues working in conjunction with USDA APHIS in performing furthering Nevada's animal disease traceability. Wild Horse Connection, the NDA did renew the Wild Horse Connection non-exclusive cooperative agreement in September for the management of the VRE horses. Wild Horse Connection continues to perform diversionary feedings in only NDA approved locations to draw horses away from highways and urban areas. With the American Wild Horse Campaign, they've been in a cooperative agreement since April 2023 and valid until April 28th, 2024. They are currently administering fertility control vaccines to the mares. Commercial feed, on program updates, we have 146 registered and active accounts. Livestock enforcement, there's a list here of what they do. It's very important. I do want to touch on, with this time of year, with our brand inspections, they have helped the brand inspections out a lot, and we appreciate them for that. On the livestock ID brand inspections, this was written about a month ago for you guys. And I just want to let you guys know, with taking that 1 month out, we've got, it says here there's 2,700 brand inspections since August till current, but that it's doubled. You take that 1 month out, it's doubled. So there's 5,000, almost 5,100 inspections. So that just shows how busy they've been. And the month of October, November, it's unbelievable. Because so you talk about 5,000 inspections. We had 86,000 animals. It's actually 167,753 animals as of a couple of days ago. So that they're out there, they're doing a lot, and we're doing everything we can to keep everybody keeping their animals moving. With predatory animal and rodent control, one of the biggest deals, I want to touch on that. The director, under his authority, did allocate funding for a bulk purchase of DRC 1339. USDA Wildlife Services, they will store and they will be the ones responsible for application. Veterinary medical services, NDA continues the National Scrapie Eradication Program. This time of year, and it's going to continue on, we've got some trick positive bulls in the state, and we are getting more. Quarantines are issued, and quarantines are being released once they're tested. NDA is just distributing free EID tags. I really like this program, and the requests are continuing to come in. We have hired a new microbiologist for the Elko Lab. The Elko Lab will provide official molecular testing for trick and Coggins by the end of the year. The ADL continues to host TMCC and UNR for classes. Regarding dairy, they continue their testing, their inspections, and their training. Mara, really good PowerPoint on everything there, so I can just move on. On the industry impact, and this is the reopening of the NDA Elko Lab will expand regional access and support trick and Coggins testing. Both the ADL, Elko, and Sparks lab sites validate new direct PCR test for trick that allows for improved turnaround and increased sensitivity. Planning is underway to offer testing by the end of the year. I don't want to, it's very important that we finally got this back in Elko. There's a lot of testing that needs to be done. It's been sent to Sparks, it's being sent out of state, and I'm happy that it's back in Elko. You guys have any questions?
Oh my, that's amazing. Animal industry, that was quick. Not saying anything, but I know.
Now, can I assist Chad and read?
Oh, man, I do. No, we appreciate what you guys are doing. There's a lot of moving pieces in that, but Terry too, well, animal board. Do you guys have any questions?
So huge.
Yeah, this is Dwayne Coombs. I hate to bring this up. I just wanted a little update on our getting our ag enforcement officers on their PERS. I understand that might be in the hands of the union. Is that correct? To get those guys, the enforcement, the deputies, actually, so they can get. I think there's one or two that it affects, but.
Yeah. Go ahead, Doug. All right. For the record, Doug first, Dwayne. I know there hasn't been much of an update since the last time. I know we emailed back and forth about it. The ag police officers, 2 of them did take the forms, complete them, fill them out. We provide them a bunch of stuff from previous. The last I had heard, they were still working with the Nevada Police Union on trying to get the language kind of concise and down to a point where they wanted to submit it then to JJ and I, so we can review and make any edits. I know we've said this before, but we fully support it. I mean, if they once bring us a product that we can submit to the Nevada Police Fire PERS board, we're more than happy to do it and go testify in favor of that. So it is still with the ag police officers and their union at this time, though.
Okay, is there anything that the board can do to help that process?
I think maybe there might be. I don't know that it wouldn't hurt. I know they were hoping that the police union would get a little quicker review on it for them. So I don't know that maybe reaching out to them and asking if it would help push it up a little bit if they heard from a board member.
Okay, I will reach out directly to who's their union rep is Dalton?
Dalton is for our ag police officers, but I have contact information for the president of the Nevada Police Union, and I can send it to you, Dwayne.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. I know that I've been a thorn in everybody's side on that one. I think it's so important that we back these young folks that are out there on the front line for us. The other thing that I just wanted to bring up is I just submitted my application for my annual movement permits, and I appreciate the work that you guys have done on that, and kind of the clarification that a lot of folks got that they hadn't had on how to use those movement permits, what they were good for. I appreciate the heat that the director and the staff took from some industry folks, and just want you guys to know that anytime you need backing on that sort of thing, just reach out, and as far as the board goes, at least from my standpoint, I will back you on that sort of thing. We've got it. That's one of the issues that has been kind of a mess that I think we're getting ahead of. So thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate it. Any other comments from the board? Or any questions? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Doug, too. We're going to move right into agenda item number 8, food and nutrition. Is that right? Patricia, she's out there.
Yep. Good morning, Patricia Hoppy, administrator. I'm going to be a follower and only touch on the high points as well, because I don't like reading things. I would like to comment on the potential government shutdown. Although we have quarterly time periods that we do this report for, I think it's important to mention that our household programs or food distribution programs are the ones that are typically impacted with the continuing resolution. That would be something like the Emergency Food Assistance Program, the Senior Nutrition and Wellness Program. They both received continuing resolutions through January 19th. So we're sitting good with that funding in case anyone was interested. Going down to the program updates. You heard a little bit about the Emergency Food Assistance Program. These are our quarterly numbers. We also had a request to provide some additional information. So Brittany and I pulled out some other questions that were sent to us that might be of interest to the board. One of those was how many pounds of TFAP food were distributed in 2022 and for 2023. So for state fiscal year 2022, we distributed 17,664,022 pounds. For state fiscal year 2023, we have a total of 12,885,900. Your observation is accurate that the food has gone down in terms of amounts. Even prior to the public health emergency that ended earlier this year, our numbers were already kind of going back to what they considered normal levels. We do still have one program that is bringing in some additional funding that is funded by USDA's Commodity Credit Corporation that is giving us some trucks of food as well as some purchasing power. But yes, it is going back to normal levels. Another question that was asked was how many pounds of TFAP were considered waste and unable to distribute in 2022 and for 2023 to date. We thought this might be a little interesting tidbit for everybody to know. Not very much. That's good news. So for example, in federal fiscal year 23, of the 14,440,879 pounds that was distributed across the federal year, which is 10/1 through 9/30, we only had food loss valued at $651.50. Not bad, huh? Pretty darn good. We're proud of that. And we're proud of our RDAs, 3 Square and Food Bank of Northern Nevada, because they are our regional distributing agencies that take care of our food and get this out. So that means that they're doing a really great job. One of the other questions we had was what counties is TFAP in? And that is all of our counties. Just to give you a split, 3 Square services Clark County, Lincoln County, and the southern part of Nye County. And Food Bank of Northern Nevada serves everything else. Another question was, what are the challenges serving rural counties, if any? And you could probably guess what these are. Typically distance, geography, staffing, and the costs that are associated with that, primarily with transportation. And last, how many agency partners currently distribute TFAP? 126 agencies statewide are distributing TFAP for the Nevada Department of Agriculture. Going back to the regular report, we did notice that our Senior Nutrition and Wellness Program had somehow fallen off. So I did want to share that during this quarterly period, we served an average of 5,040 seniors for this quarter, which is our 60 and older income eligibility program. And then I'll touch on Home Feeds Nevada. I know that is a popular program. You've heard a lot of numbers thrown out there. So of course, the numbers that you have in your report packet are as of the quarterly dates, which is, it sounds a lot smaller than what was earlier reported, but it's 611,053 pounds, along with over 38,000 gallons of fluid milk, with purchasing power of 1,493,12 for these food products. A little bit of good news that we added into our report is We have another funding source that we are able to leverage now. We did finally receive full approval to utilize our state ARPA funding, which is $2 million in addition to our federal local food purchase assistance funding. So the local food purchase assistance funding is a federal ARPA grant that we received directly as an agency from USDA, and it's what has been funding the Home Feeds Nevada program. And the state ARPA comes directly from GFO. So we are working on spending plans where we're kind of trying to extend this program as long as we can. The LFPA, or the Local Food Purchase Assistance, those funds end June 30, 2024. It is our goal to spend all of those funds and not give anything back. So we're trying to work on getting that spending plan together, but to also be able to leverage this program across time so that we can keep all of our producers on the program while we add new and keep getting that additional food out there to our communities that so badly need it. Community nutrition and school nutrition, they are cruising along as they normally do. With the school year starting, having started in August, it also starts our community nutrition program. So as you can see, they have great stats with the meals that they're serving to those in need, as well as starting their administrative compliance reviews with their program sponsors that are annually required. And they're doing a great job on that. And other than that, I think that's all we have, unless there are questions.
That's it. Perfect. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And what your staff does too as well. Is there any questions from the board or any comments? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Patricia, wherever you're at.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving right along to agenda item number 9. We'll go to measurements and standards. Bill.
For the record, Bill Strajewski, Administrator for Measurement Standards, and not wanting to be one who is the head of the nail sticking up above. I too will only make updates on some of the highlighted items and some things that have happened since the report was submitted. Big thing is that next week, Tuesday, December 12th, 10 a.m. We'll be hosting in person at the Sparks office a workshop to discuss LCB file R070-22. Like I said, we'll be in person at the Sparks office. We'll be teleconferencing to this office in Elko, and also there's a Zoom link will also be available. Pertinent documents, including the workshop notice, the LCB file, and the small business impact statement are available on the department's website. As of yet, we haven't heard from any interested parties, but I expect to have a pretty robust turnout and hopefully some good discussions. A key proposed change will allow for us to do legal testing of EVSEs. Currently, we don't have these fall into a category where we do not have the authority to do that. Without going into that, I can go into it if asked. And so granting this authority will allow for greater oversight of this emerging industry, and will also allow us to know better where the devices are and what sort of condition they're in, since it sounds like just universally, other than Tesla, it's pretty much of a crapshoot whether or not a charger works or not. So, hopefully we can, even if we're helping the industry, just monitor, because they're not getting that feedback. So that, we're looking forward to that. Livestock, obviously, everything did get completed this season. In the aftermath of that, as I had said, our communication was inadequate, and I've been working with the NVA communications team to put together an online fillable form so that ranchers can more easily provide essential information, so that we can communicate with them more efficiently than we've been able to. unfortunately, attempts to gather information during the Farm Bureau Association and Cattlemen's Association didn't go like we hoped it would, but I'm working on a draft letter to send out soon this month, hopefully, or early January, just to, invite the ranchers again to share information that we only want to allow them to have the most current information that we have. So, and that would be to provide that information via the form that I mentioned. So I had mentioned in I think the liaison section about the advisory committee on control of emissions from motor vehicles. Unfortunately, I realized when I was working on this update that the way that it reads, I inadvertently deleted a section, and it appears that there is a call from Clark County to eliminate this group, and that is not the case. So I regret that error. This organization, this committee actually is the various organizations that receive funding from the smog inspections in Clark and Washoe County. So it is Clark County Air Quality, Washoe County Air Quality, DMV, NDEP, and ourselves. Rather, Clark County has been overseeing a smoking vehicle program for many years, which we're all aware of, and it is this program that the county is considering discontinuing, even though it's been pretty successful. And I don't think that it requires a lot of funding, but this was mentioned by a Clark County representative at the October meeting of the advisory committee, but there was no reason given at that time. And so we're going to continue to have that as an agenda item moving forward. And that committee meets quarterly. Also, in terms of Clark County, both Clark and Washoe counties have strategic implementation plans, or SIPs, through the EPA that plans to help hopefully control emissions, and have a number of county-specific rules that deal with these issues. To this end, Clark County is considering a number of measures because they're always behind the 8 ball trying to keep up with those, and the EPA will change and usually lower their requirements, and Clark County has to scramble even more. Including one that would move away from the use of just regular gasoline and go back to using reformulated gasoline, which hasn't been required for at least 15 years. And I'm not sure how much traction this has gotten. They have held a couple of meetings discussing it. It doesn't really seem like that's a plan yet, but I know that in speaking with refinery folks from Salt Lake City who send stuff down the UNEV, they're very interested. So this, could have some impacts. As I wrote in the board report, the chemist in the Las Vegas petroleum lab here resigned in September, and because of the workload, there was a great urgency to get this position filled. We were fortunate. We received more than 20 applicants, and more than 15 of them were high quality and verified. We interviewed 6, and our new chemist started on November 27th. The current petroleum supervisor spent that week here training her and has been in daily contact with her this week. And our other lab chemist will come down next week for some more additional training. And I'm looking forward to getting a chance to see her today. But by all observations so far, I think it's going to work out, and we're really grateful for that. And just a quick update on the weights and measures vehicle and equipment purchases. These actually were not submitted for December's IFC meeting, will be submitted for the next one, February. However, the skid steer tractor for the Elko office has been approved. A successful bid has been chosen, and now we're awaiting delivery on that. At the beginning of November, we did our second round of invoicing to not device holders, but to registered service agents and public waymasters, and those are coming in. Also last month, Doug directed his NHP colleagues in my direction. DMV Motor Carrier was also looped into that. And so we had an initial discussion actually on two different topics. At one time, the NHP was fairly active in pulling dyed diesel samples from ineligible vehicles. And we played a small role in that. And so a lot of their graybeards had moved on, and some of our graybeards had moved on, but this one was still here. And so both sides are trying to figure out a route for that. On the DMV side, also, evidently there are some unauthorized fuel sales, especially in the Las Vegas area. And so we're gonna start working with them on how to attack that. When we met at the end of August, we were a couple of weeks out from hosting the Western Weights and Measures Association. That is one of the 4 weights and measures regions. It encompasses 13 states and a number of California counties. We were fortunate to have 11 of those states represented, and gosh, probably about a dozen counties. Almost 90 attendees, including a fair number of our staff here, which was really good because they got to see, how some of the sausage is made in the rules that they have to enforce and follow when they're out in the field checking devices. Last night I returned from the ASTM Petroleum Products and Lubricants Committee meeting. This was my final meeting. I wrapped up duties as a subcommittee officer, helped acquaint the new petroleum supervisor with the meeting process and with my colleagues. Boy, I had developed some really good relationships with other regulators, with industry, both liquid fuel and on the auto side. And so I really wanted to get those faces together and start rebuilding them. And I think it was very successful. And next month will be the National Conference on Weights and Measures interim meeting. The 4 regions met in the fall and discussed new and continuing items, and now the national conference gets together and the results of those 4 meetings are discussed, and then it goes on from there. But there will be agenda items concerning weighing and measuring devices of all capacities and types, petroleum-based fuels, alternative fuels, and energy, including EV and hydrogen, as well as method of sale and labeling items. And that is it. Thank you. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. We appreciate, Bill, what you do. How many livestock scales are out there right now in service?
I knew that answer a couple months ago.
It's in my email.
It is.
How close, roundabout?
I want to say between 400 and 500. Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
We won't even talk about measured units. You guys, your team.
Nearly 55,000.
We're at 55,000 for meters. Everywhere you go, whether it's a grocery store or a gas station, you'll see NDA sticker on there. The team has been amazing to get out there. There's a few.
I will say they work very, very hard.
Few of them. So if you see a new gas station at Tonopah, you know that they got to be there to get it certified. So we appreciate you and your team, what you're doing, especially the EV. I think that's important to take in the spearhead, the lead on that. Makes sense, right? There's a few in that category that are out there as well. So does the board have any other questions or comments?
I do.
Yes, go ahead, Bernard.
So Bernard Peterson, for the record, this is actually directed more toward Director Kokachia, where I believe, where I see Bill's enthusiasm for taking over this part of the department and the rigors that he has. He has a lot of limitations. It had limitations with staff and equipment from the very beginning, but his coordination and implementation of the program and the demonstrated success over the last year is phenomenal. When I started asking questions about weights and measures and scales, he immediately responded to me as a board member and an outside producer. I can see the improvements that are happening because of your presence. I think that should be recognized.
Absolutely, thank you. And then as far as we have, the Farm Bureau's made the date, so you're good to go, it's not on a holiday. I appreciate you guys coming in so far in the Farm Bureau Mesquite on a holiday. The staff members that supported that, thank you. But yeah, so anytime invite, and I'm sure Cattleman will be there too as well. So we'll be in Fallon this year, so that'll help you out as well. But thank you again for you and your staff do with all that. Any other questions or comments? None, thank you. We're gonna go to agenda item number 10, plant and health compliance. We'll go with Maggie.
Morning, everyone. Megan Hill for the record. I too won't belabor, I know Mara just pointed out my 6-page report, so apparently I got a little lengthy, but we have a very diverse and robust program. I'll highlight some items that aren't in here. We are currently working through NAC changes for 555 that was in response to Senate Bill 159, which was related to pest control and the authorization to allow a person to train as a general use pesticide applicator and engage in quote direct pest control activities. And the person would then become a registered trainee. We have submitted draft language to LCB. We also used our draft language to create a small impact. Depending on how that language comes back from LCB, we'll either re-engage in that SBI or we'll move on to workshop. We have seen quite a bit of increase in opportunity as well as successful application for federal grant funding. Most of the grant funding that we've received within plant health compliance has been associated with our noxious weed program as well as our native seed program. We recently received a grant through U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to do direct contracting with growers for native seed production and cultivation, as well as the continued funding from the Bureau of Land Management. We have also received funding from U.S. Forest Service for work on invasive and noxious weed treatments, more related to fuels treatments. These funds can be used by private landowners, conservation districts, as well as homeowners associations, et cetera, to deal with noxious weed and invasive species treatments for fuel breaks, as well as right-of-ways. And we hope to work with our partners. Several other state agencies, including NDOW and NDF, also receive funding, and we worked in coordination with those agencies to ensure that the application of those fundings kind of are in each one of our wheelhouses. And so we'll work more specifically on the non-habitat related private land application of those funds. We recently hired a new crops program manager, so that program manages our export and shipping, hemp, phytosanitary, works in complement with Jeff Knight's team and our plant pathologist team on the nursery program. We're really excited. He's hit the ground running. He had experience at California Department of Food and Ag and has some really great ideas. We're trying to work on setting up some additional SOPs and inspection protocols so that we're aligned with how we're doing that within our own division, and also being able to communicate with our growers to have some consistency in implementation. Of note, the specialty crop block grant applications are open until December 15th for those that are interested. We're currently in the middle of the season for phytosanitary and shipping point. We continue to see growth in shipping point, especially for onions year over year. I'm sorry, I don't have November and October numbers, but I know that they're an increase. I saw them and I didn't bring them with me, so I apologize for that. We're continuing to work and meet needs for survey work. And I do want to highlight again, Jeff Knight's work and his team and consistency of having that position in our state has been critical to be able to continue to meet the needs of invasive pest species. Our NDOT position that we have in our noxious weed program is also going to be currently open. That position reviews NDOT construction plans for noxious weed compliance. We recently had a meeting with the NDOT team to work on including a special provisions program within the Nevada Silver Book, which I don't know if any of you guys have ever worked with NDOT, but there's this really great, super thick manual that NDOT has to use for the regulations to do and construct roads. We will now have a special provision in there related to noxious weeds, not only for the construction, but just for general management of their maintenance pits and stuff. And so I think it's a really great step in the right direction to provide some consistency in that position. And then as the director pointed out, I've been engaged heavily with different Forest Service and BLM public land engagement, ensuring that the department is advocating on behalf of issues related to our livestock grazing community as well as our noxious and invasive weeds. End of report.
Thank you so much. Is there any questions for Megan at all on the board?
No, I don't think so. I think we're up to date on pretty much everything.
And don't hesitate to reach out if that's not the case. I'll be happy to dig up the answers. I don't know all of them. I've been learning lots of new things and currently.
Megan, I have one question. Who's the contact person for the, like certified weed free for inspections?
Andrea Moe, and I will be happy to get you her contact information.
Thank you for working with us on the onion program.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure to reach out and we'll have those conversations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Megan. Once again, a lot of moving pieces on your behalf, doing a lot of stuff. As we turn the corner, there's gonna be some more critters out there for sure. So we'll leave it like that. But before we move to, thank you again, public comment. JJ, do you have
Yeah, so just a couple of things I wanna touch on before we quit. NAC 583, those changes, those workshops, meat and poultry inspection for in-state. Excuse me. We have one more workshop scheduled. That is December 15th. That is a do-over from the first one. We had a technical glitch on that first one, so we re-agendized that one. I'll get a spit out on that for next Friday. So if you haven't had the opportunity and you want to provide some comment to that or listen in to those proposed changes, again, on NAC 583, that'll be next Friday. In Sparks, again, all the Zoom links, and they'll work this time, huh, Holly? We got them figured out. So we've heard a lot of good feedback on that. I did see the Farm Bureau newsletter this morning, agreed 100%, and I think we are in a place where we can make a couple of changes, and we will all be in a very good place on those regulations and working with Shiga on that. So look for the potential for a special meeting of you guys as we get that down and back from LCB. I do not want to wait until March, Mr. Chairman. So we would have an adoption hearing. We'll host it wherever, but probably virtually for a lot of you guys rather than having you drive for an hour long type thing. But be on the lookout for that as quick as we get that. Then one other thing I have proposed, and we will go forward with it, right between Farm Bureau's annual meeting next year and Cattlemen's meeting in Fallon. They're both going to be in Fallon. We are going to host a governor's conference on ag sometime the week in November 18th through the 22nd. We haven't had one in a long time, and we need to get back to that. And so we're hoping it'll be all encompassing. Again, we're going to do it in Fallon just because everybody's kind of going to be there anyway. Guys, it'll be everything from small producers to urban to cows to onions to whatever we can think of. We want to have a good, meaningful meeting there. So November 18th to the 22nd, somewhere in there. Haven't got those dates nailed down yet, but put a tentative hold on that. And we will do that. As part of that, I forgot to mention, I'm working with USDA and RCS on expanding our opportunities for urban agriculture and predominantly down here in Southern Nevada. And I will have a call later this afternoon as I start making my way back north with NRCS on that. We're looking at some of this warehouse spaces and some of this vertical grows that they're doing in some of these places. And we are also working to get more equip dollars on federal land adjacent to what our private partners are doing already. So exciting times. USDA is a great partner, and I've had a couple of conversations with Deputy Secretary Bonnie in the last week. So forgot to update you on that and want to make sure I hit that. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Told you I'd come back.
Amazing. Yes, Paul, go ahead.
One question for Megan, I forgot to ask, is how are we coming along on the neonic compliance?
Had it up. Let me just log in. So we are communicating both with retailers and talking through this.
Manufacturers.
And communicating, yeah, so we had some further discussions and have sent out or are going to be sending out some information about, and are you just specifically talking about the label requirements and sale or?
Yeah, and what we are, I understand that we can sell the products, but we can't recommend for the use, consumers can't use them on plant material.
Correct.
For spraying.
For non-commercial and agriculture, or for non-agricultural use, yes.
Okay, so basically, we just want to see that compliance, what we can and what we can't do.
Correct. So I'm going to be sending out some language with some clarification related to the label. And we're also going to be working with our partners to do some education for the applicator side so that they understand in conversations, we are going to be providing some language that through education outreach are going to sufficiently carry out the provisions of the bill. And so there won't be a need to change the label requirements to reflect 586. So it is our understanding, many of the product out on the shelves have uses that are legal in 587, and that the education that we'll provide and outreach, and then the applicators' understanding of laws and regulations that we can implement moving forward from that perspective. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, we just are waiting on clarification of what we can tell customers, and we don't want to just sell them the products and have them not realize what they can and can't.
Yeah, and the educational material will talk about the uses like pet care, veterinary treatment, some of the other uses that will still be found on the label, and then where they can be used so that if customers have specific questions.
That's going to be a long time before a lot of the manufacturers can come up with substitute products for us to sell for pest control of certain insects. So
Understood, and there's a desire, I think, from industry to meet the label requirements in coordination with EPA as well as, and then if they find substitutes. Director, did you have an additional comment?
Yeah, so remember, last week we approved that language that will be coming out very soon. And that bill was very specific to on-plant application for non-commercial. All other uses, bare soil, drench, etc., are not regulated, and that is how I am going to go forward with the way that was written.
Okay.
You will have that thing. I think that's huge for you guys. We heard that. We went back and we reviewed that, and that language will be coming out very soon. And as Deputy Administrator Brown said, I should call her Interim Administrator Brown said, we will have some additional educational pieces that will be going out to you folks as well as commercial applicators on what that looks like. But we have it done, and we are not going to be demanding. In fact, we already sent that email, I believe, to the actual producers that we're not making you change those labels right now.
Yeah.
Because that was going to be a problem. They could not get those labels changed. We know that. And so we were not going to have products jerked off the shelf going into the season when we need them. So we are sending clarification out.
Well, just so you know too, is that we're working with a lot of the manufacturers that trying to get new products that they are developing and they do have available that can do part of the same jobs that Normex do, but they're not classified as such, and most of it's in the systemic insecticides. And they've already got products that can actually perform the same as the neonics, but they can only reach a certain height in the plant. And so it doesn't actually go up to the flowering sections of most of the plants and trees that we have to deal with. So they're helping to get through that situation, but it's going to take a lot of time. A lot of time.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Megan?
I don't want to close my computer.
All right, awesome. We're gonna move to agenda item number 11, public comment. Is there any public comment out in Elko? Nope, don't hear anybody. How about in Sparks? Any public comment?
No public comment in this room.
All right, any public comment virtually? Raise your hand. I was gonna push it up a little bit, yeah. All right, none out there virtually. Any public comments here in Las Vegas? Perfect, we're gonna go ahead and close public comment. And then we're gonna go ahead and move to agenda number 12. Does someone want to make a motion for that?
Make a motion for adjournment.
All right, there's a first on the floor for adjournment. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a first. Oh man, I don't know. Who was it? We'll give it to Brooke. We'll give it to Brooke. All right. We have a first and a second. Any discussion on adjournment? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Thank you very much again for your time. We're adjourned.
Hi,